is the fact that these dimwits at Obsidian who decided to add all this gendered BS into their game, these people went out of their way to try and hide this pronoun crap.
How'd they hide it?
So another game makes headlines for reasons. And based on what I've seen of the game, it looks okay. It's not like a game that I am super eager to play. And to be completely honest, this game wasn't even much on my radar until people started talking about it. And I figured, okay, there's probably some news. Maybe they'll add a little bit more stuff. Let me go and check it out again since it's popular. Come to find out, there's a lot of controversy surrounding the game. From what I can see, I don't see off rip why it would be so controversial. It just looks like a regular fantasy MMO or RPG. When I checked it out on Steam, I see that it's going to be released February 18, 2025. And okay, it looks fine, I guess. So what is the problem? Aside from it looking basically generic, there doesn't seem anything particularly off-putting about it per se, until the pronoun thing comes into play. And this is not really what I'm going to be talking about because people have preferences, I get it. I understand, again, I've said this in multiple videos, why people would probably be annoyed seeing the pronouns at the forefront of things. Like I said, me personally, if it doesn't affect the game, I don't see what the problem is. I mean, it's not like pronouns being in games is a new thing. It's always been a thing, whether you choose a female or male character. So I don't feel like pronouns themselves are an issue, but to each their own. Right? I feel like if the game is good, people will still play it regardless. They may have misgivings about it, especially based on the developers or the developers' ideology. Like if they're the type of person that lashes out at the customers, I could see how people would have misgivings about supporting a game like that. So yes, there's a conversation to be had about that, which I've already covered, which other people have already covered. There are some people who think that it shouldn't be a big deal if you have pronouns in a game. There's some people believe that the pronoun thing has been a focal point of a lot of disgruntled individuals, and it seems to also correlate with people who are extremely cultish in the way they treat others that don't agree with their ideologies. There's a whole section of that we can talk about. But right now, the reason why this game is mostly in controversy is not really specifically because of the pronoun stuff. I think that is very trivial and surface-based. It's based on comments made by the art director at Obsidian Entertainment named Matt Hansen. Now, to be fair, this was in response to a post that Elon Musk made, which I honestly thought that he was trolling when he made this. He retweeted Grum's post, says, "I'm drawing a line. I'm rejecting any game." This is what Grum said. "I'm rejecting any game that has pronouns in it, and you grammar Nazis know what I mean. Stop being stupid." I think he is referring to they, them. I'm not really sure. I don't want to put words in his mouth, but the pronouns thing, it seems that a lot of people have issues with the pronouns being at the forefront when they're like, oh, it's a he, him, it's a they or her or whatever. Like I said, me personally, I don't believe in anything. I don't believe it being necessarily wrong to have the pronouns in there as long as they don't try to force the cringiness inside of the game. Like there is some dialogue that just really cringy, and it's not that you can't talk about these subject matters, it's that they have to force it in such a very odd and uncomfortable and unnatural way whenever they do it. Like what they did with Dustborn, like what they did with Dragon Age Veilguard.
Why do you run around in fancy mage clothes?
Because I like them.
You're barely even wearing a shirt.
You fight Anton with a bare midriff.
Everything all right?
We're fine. Just trading fashion tips. So what I wear is a problem for you?
It's not. It's just... why dress like that? Are you trying to make your mother happy?
You need not tell me that I am an inadequate mother. I am aware.
Then why did you leave?
When I see my child in danger, I act.
Here, vegetables.
Thank you.
So, I'm non-binary.
What does that mean?
It means I don't feel like a man or a woman.
If you are neither a man nor a woman, then what are you?
Non-binary. I just said, and I'm going to use they instead of she from now on.
If this is because I have criticized your dress or your manners...
It isn't!
So as you can tell from that dialogue, it's completely understandable why people might find it cringeworthy and overly forced in video games, especially when, like, in real life, the people who are pushing these ideas the hardest often turn out to be the least progressive and most intolerant people you will ever meet. And it's really exhausting to see them dominating so much of media. Maybe that's why it's such a put off to a lot of people, only to step into a game and have the same thing shoved in your face. Even if it's a small part of the game or limited to one character storyline, I kind of can see how that's a turnoff for a lot of people. So they're automatically reactionary when they see, oh crap, pronouns, it must be non-binary stuff, even if it looks very ridiculous from the outside. So yeah, then we have Elon Musk piling in and claiming through his tweet, having pronouns in a fantasy video game is utterly unacceptable. Honestly, I thought he was trolling here. I don't know if people don't recognize by now, but Elon is the king of memes and trolling people. And I feel like this was a very heavy-handed response that made me feel as though, it almost feels like it was meant for someone else. So we follow Matt Hansen and his comments, and these are the comments that he's leaving. It sounds like he has a personal hate boner towards Elon Musk, almost as if the two of them had a thing in the past and Matt got dumped very hard, or he just didn't have Elon notice him. That's the energy that this is giving, because for him to come out this hard in this very unclassy manner, saying stuff like, it's honestly deeply surreal to have the world's richest, shittiest boy whine about something I'm making. I'm quite frankly giddy. I cannot think of a single person in the world I would rather irritate. Yeah, it's not giving classy yourself. And regardless of whether or not you hate Elon Musk or agree with what he said, it actually feels as though it backfired for this dude. Because while Matt Hansen believes that he's irritating Elon Musk, who, if you don't know, is the heaviest troll right now, it's kind of ironic that Matt Hansen doesn't realize that he's actually the butt of the joke. Elon Musk is the one who actually ended up irritating you to the point where you would take the bait and start having a meltdown on social media about him. He wasn't even attacking you personally, at least not from the post that I saw. He was saying or making a statement about something in general about a game that you're only a part of. And for you to come on here and misrepresent the game in such a manner, forgetting that other people have worked on the game as well, it's very selfish, and it just showcases how much you lack emotional intelligence and professionalism. Elon is already one of the richest guys in the world. He doesn't need money. You do, though. Like, what is even this post? Even if people are bowing down and sucking your toes, and yeah, it makes you feel great for the moment, think about the rest of the people who are looking at your reaction who are potential customers. Even if they also dislike Elon, seeing you become unhinged like some colossal man baby might be enough to put some people off. They might snap their fingers and say, "Yas, queen," but then not buy your game because you put them off it. You're happy and giddy that you pissed him off, but he's already forgotten about you.
Go f yourself. Go f yourself. Is that clear? I hope it is.
You think he's sitting there in all his millions while he's trying to get us to travel into outer space and creating companies and jobs for people, and then having enough fuck you money to sit around and troll on the internet and play Diablo and become the #1 player in the world just so he could have an insignificant person like you keep him up at night? I'd be surprised if he saw your post. And if he did, I don't know, bro. Just a weird reaction to have to something like this, especially when you're in the business of trying to sell people your product. Meanwhile, you don't see the irony that Elon Musk has single-handedly made himself your #1 focus while also playing yourself and you making yourself look like a bigger jackass than he is. I don't know why people don't grasp this concept, and it's really cringy how this person is coming forward with this behavior thinking, oh, he got Elon Musk now. Well, now your game is in a lot of controversy. And I'm not saying the game is bad. I don't know much about the game, so I can't say if it's bad or not, but this is definitely gonna hurt the potential customers you otherwise would have gotten. Now, the one reason this game is in everyone's mouth, which I guess you're happy about because good press, right? But in this case, I don't think that's the situation. Bad press actually can hurt games, you know, depending on the type of game that it is. But now this is what is at the forefront of everyone's mouths. People forget that word of mouth is still very important, regardless of whether or not we have the internet, especially when they can go back and look at the facts and see how you've been acting. And to Matt Hansen, your response to Elon personally, you know, it was to him personally. And the response that he made, as far as I'm aware, wasn't even towards you personally. And it just shows a lack of awareness and maturity. And quite frankly, it's very off-putting. And I hate to remind you of this, but you're not the only one working on the game. Then people started digging up a whole bunch of history on this Matt Hansen guy. And then we find out that he's borderline racist. So as you can see in this post here that he made a while back, like, not only does he hate white men, yes, being a white man himself, yes, you can still be racist against your own ethnicity, but he's also racist in the way he treats black people. His post that he made a while back here says, reminder to black artists out there who are looking for portfolio reviews or job advice. My DMs are open, and you will always have my priority. We got too many crusty white dudes in this field. Please let me help you replace me one day. I want to go back to living in the woods while you slave away. I'm kidding that he didn't put that last part. I want to go back to living in the woods. And honestly, maybe it's just me, but this is a very condescending post. And I don't know if white people are not aware of how condescending it sounds or it is to black people. You're basically admitting that you feel as though you're superior, and so they can only get ahead if you grace your godliness upon them and show them your favor. I mean, nothing is stopping you from having someone replace you right now if that's what you really care about. These people forget that black artists and black developers already exist, so what are you even talking about? But since you're so magnanimous and altruistic, why don't you right now go out there right now and choose people? Go out there and look for people. There are many of them on YouTube who are making games, and Instagram, TikTok, developing things. You can pick them right now, train them, and have them replace you. Like, what exactly are you waiting for? Are you just saying that to make yourself look good while not actually intending to follow through on what you claimed? If you want to help someone right now, how about you take a very young person under your wing and train them? Not a minor, but like a younger person than you. You can take off from work right now. Give the job to somebody else, since you clearly don't care about it. Look at how he's sabotaging himself. He clearly doesn't care about it, right? So give the job to somebody else who will actually appreciate it and train the youth. Set up courses for free to teach them what you do. You can do that right now since you care so much. Instead of acting like a crazy cat lady on the internet about some billionaire guy who doesn't even really notice you, you can one-up him by going out there, being charitable, and training other young developers. Give them free courses and let them work for you so they can develop good work habits. But now that I think about it, thinking about it now with this whole post and controversy and everything, maybe that's not even best for younger people than him, because if this is what they have to look up to with this kind of behavior, I think maybe it's best that you stay away from them. We don't want to create more people like you. But yeah, as other people are saying, for him to have this reaction, yeah, Elon's gonna Elon, but for you to have this visceral reaction to someone who you know is a known troll, the fact that you look down on him so much, but you took time out of your day to make several posts about him, I mean, that you did say that was what makes you get off on that. So I get it. That's your personal kink, but you do have to remember that there are other people that worked on this. And so now you shining the game in a bad light is going to make everybody look bad. That's very selfish of you. And how many minorities are working for the little that are there, working or developing this game, or in some way connected to it or indirectly connected to it, that you have now put on the chopping block with your very disgusting behavior. All you had to do, at least Jaguar, you know, as much as I made fun of it with that video, when they were on their Twitter posts replying to people who were clearly dogging them, at least they were professional with it when they were on Twitter. I can't speak for outside of that. But this whole thing with him was just, you could have just ignored it, or you could have just been like, try to kill them with kindness and say, well, it doesn't affect the game, so such and such and such. Keep it to yourself, or not, and then watch people be like, ooh, that was a really cringy reaction. And then yes, as people pointed out, they this other guy's YouTube channel the guy kind of bit himself in the ass also by admitting that he was prioritizing people who weren't white dudes, which is discriminatory in your hiring practices. But yeah, dude, all of that was so unnecessary, and it honestly, it shines the game now in a bad light, because instead of people actually just talking about the game and having those issues, now they're talking about this. Now I'm talking about this. And the thing is, if I could have understood if Elon attacked him personally, he didn't do that. He was, whether it's a bad take or good take, he was just stating his opinion about something in general, and you decide to go on the offense and attack him personally, like he looked at you and said, ah, your penis is really small. I bet you I could use it to pick my teeth. Like, dude, it doesn't warrant that kind of reaction, bro. You're not the only one who worked on the game. I don't know, dude. I don't know what's wrong with these people, but yeah, as for the discourse surrounding the whole pronoun thing, I don't think it's that big of a deal. As long as we're not going in the direction that Veilguard did, that's going to put off people. But what puts off people even the more are the developers acting as though they come from on high And people who do have an issue with this for their reasons, you've forgotten that they may share Elon's view. And yeah, you may not like some of your customers or agree with their viewpoint, but your job as a business person who's trying to sell a product is to win them over. You don't have to like them to like their money. I don't know why that's escaping your intellect. I don't get it. I don't get it. I'm still, no matter how many videos I make talking about this, because it's just something that we talk about, I will always still be shocked at the fact that people don't actually want to make money and try to do everything above and beyond what is possible to sabotage their product or the prospect of making money. And the thing is, you're so short-sighted because you're talking about bringing Black people into the fold to replace you, but you're trying to damage a company that you're representing. So when you do finally get them to replace you, you've left them with nothing but ash and turd, which I think is very horrible and dehumanizing. But that's just me.
Everyone is so pressed about the fact that there's pronouns in Dragon Age and Avowed, like as if there aren't dragons and magic and elves in the game. Like they think that pronouns are like the unfeasible thing in that game when there's dragons and elves and magic, like wizards and sorcerers and all that jazz, and they're like, you know what's the problem with this game? You know what's unrealistic in this game? The fucking pronouns. I don't honestly think that their problem is with the pronouns. I think their problem is with trans and non-binary and genderqueer people getting a choice on what pronouns they have and like sort of seeing representation in their games. I think that they're upset that they are seeing representation for the LGBTQIA plus community in games. And you know what I have to say to that is just fuck off. You go and play your games, but stay the fuck away from us. Because you sound like a fucking idiot saying, oh, pronouns aren't real. Like, why do you need pronouns in a game? Fucking dragons aren't real, man.